What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday and day before Thanksgiving. I hope everybody's having a great week. Strap yourselves in, guys. We've got a great episode for you, as always. So first thing I want to talk about today. I just got done listening to my guys, Paul Feinbaum, Stephen A. Smith, and Mad Dog Russo. What the topic they were talking about really got to me. So they were talking about the potential top four for the college football playoff. And Paul Feinbaum was saying, like, if Alabama and Georgia, no matter who wins, they both should be in the top four. Which, to me, I don't agree with, and this is why. So, this same situation happened a long while back, where I think it was before the college football playoff, where Alabama and LSU played for the national title game, even though one of them won their conference and the other didn't. Like, literally, it made no sense. So, that's why I thought this college football playoff was instilled so that there wasn't this issue. But it seems like now it's happening again. To me, I don't care if Alabama beats Georgia or vice versa. If you don't win your conference, you should not be in the top four. Case in point, I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're in the SEC. I don't care if you're in the Pac-12. I don't care if you only have one loss, and that's because you lost your conference championship game. The only one I saw that happen to was last year with TCU. They still somehow made it into the top four when they lost to Kansas State in the conference championship. That didn't make no sense to me at all. But it was whatever. Now, this year, to me, I don't think it should happen again. I think the college football committee should be like, okay, you know what? We need to get the 4 teams in there that win the Power 5 conferences. Because here's the thing. I think Florida State is going to be bounced out, especially with Jordan Travis going out for the season. I don't think they're going to win out. I don't. I think they're going to lose one of their next 2 games. Hell, they might lose them both. I don't know, but we'll see. I think Washington and Oregon are going to end up playing each other again, and one of them is going to lose. So if Washington loses, then Oregon's probably going to jump up into the top 4. The winner of Michigan and Ohio State is probably going to stay in the top 4, and the other one's going to be bounced out because they're not going to play for their title. So then that leaves you with 1 spot left, and that's either going to go to Alabama or it's going to go to, well, actually, that'd be 2 spots left. I'm sorry. That'd be 2 spots left. So you'd have the Big Ten winner, the Pac-12 winner, and then, of course, whoever wins the SEC is going to have one of the spots. So the winner of Alabama and Georgia are probably going to end up in the top 4. Now, the question is, what happens to Texas if Texas wins out? Because they got Texas Tech on Black Friday, and then they got the Big 12 championship, who they're probably going to play. I don't know who they're going to play, actually. It might be Oklahoma State. It's either going to be Oklahoma State or it's going to be Kansas State. So, or even West Virginia. The second spot for the Big 12 championship is up for grabs. Like, it hasn't been solidified yet. It's probably not going to be solidified until this weekend. So, that's up in the air right now. Also, so if Texas, let's say Texas wins Friday night, they beat Texas Tech, right? Which more than likely is probably going to happen. Even though, to me, Texas has not really looked that good the past few weeks. They've been barely squeaking by against teams they should be blowing out. Like Kansas State, they should have blew them out by 20 points or more. There was no excuse that game should have went to overtime. Houston, they should have blew them out of the water. There was no excuse that game should have came down to the final drive. TCU's looked horrible all year, and they let TCU get within 3, and they barely beat them. Iowa State, they beat by double digits on the road, which that was a decent win. I was a little worried about that. Now you got Texas Tech at home. okay? You have to beat the shit out of Texas Tech if you want to have a chance. Now, Texas Tech is a sneaky team, too, because they gave Oregon a hell of a game earlier this year. They almost beat Oregon, and Oregon's good. So, Texas needs to watch out against Texas Tech. Now, if Texas beats Texas Tech, let's move ahead. Go to the Big 12 championship. Okay, now you really got to win out. You win out, you win the Big 12, you deserve to be in the top 4. I know I'm a biased Texas fan. I've been a Texas Longhorns fan for a long time. But I'm also saying this too. If you win your conference, you should be able to play for the top 4, especially if you're in one of the Power 5s. You should be playing for the top 4. Thank God the top 4 is going to be gone after this year. It's going to go to 12 teams. Then we wouldn't have this talk. Because to me, it should have been 12 teams to begin with. I'm finally glad that they're getting rid of it, though. Thank fucking Christ. Now, my thing is, though, if Texas wins out and they make the top 4, what's going to happen? I don't know if they'll go to the championship. Don't get me wrong, because their injuries are starting to creep up on them. You know, they lost Jonathan Brooks, who's been one of the best running backs in the league, in the country. Xavier Worthy got hurt, who's been their number 1 receiver. Ewers was out for a little while, and he really hasn't looked the same since he's been back. So, I mean, I don't know. I just don't know, like, what's going to happen with Texas. If they are to win out and they are to make the top 4, the way they play, they're not going to win. If they have to play like a Georgia or a Michigan or Washington the way they play, they're going to get blown out. Those teams will put 50 up on them. As Texas likes to get ahead early and then they coast. You can't do that against really good teams. You can't. You have to keep your foot on the gas. If you are given an opportunity, and this goes for any sports team, football team, the Celtics are big culprits of this too. To me, if you have a lead, you keep your foot on the gas. You keep putting up points. You don't just say, oh, you know what, we're going to just hang back. We're going to play conservative. No, you fucking keep your foot on the gas and you keep scoring. You know, the Celtics are big culprits of that, which pisses me off about them too. That's why they lost to fucking Charlotte the other night. It's because they got lazy and they didn't keep their foot on the gas. And what would happen? They lost by 3 in overtime, even though they had a 9-point lead with 2 minutes left in the fucking game. How do you blow a 9-point lead with 2 minutes left in the game? That's ridiculous. That's pathetic. The Bruins did the same thing against Tampa Bay the other night. Fucking had a 1-goal lead, 2 minutes left in the game, and what happened? They lost in overtime. That's ridiculous. That's pathetic. You keep your foot on the gas. You don't get lazy. I hate that so much. And coming from somebody who's studied so much about sports and so much about coaching and done the coaching and everything, I don't like it. You know, I don't understand the mindset. I just don't. I don't get it. Don't be lazy. I hate laziness. Don't be lazy. Keep your foot on the gas. But I want to move on now, though. I got to talk about that. I got to talk about some football now, some NFL football. How about them Eagles, though, Luke Anderson? Shout out to you, buddy. Those Eagles on Monday night, that was so awesome. I was loving it, loving it, loving it. Let me tell you, I loved seeing Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce crying at the end of that game. I loved it. Loved it. Because I'll tell you what, I was saying last week how I can't stand those two. I can't stand Patrick Mahomes. And now I'm starting to see how the Kansas City Chiefs are starting to unravel. The Eagles pretty much put the blueprint together. You triple team Travis Kelce and you take him out of the equation, Mahomes ain't got nobody. He's got nobody else. His receivers can't catch. Isaiah Pacheco is only so good running the ball. He gets taken out of a game, though, pretty easily, it seems. If you got a good front seven, you could take Isaiah Pacheco out of the mix. So then what does that leave Mahomes? He's got nobody. He's got some shitty receivers. And it's starting to show that he can't elevate them. He's not. He is not an elevator. He's not like a Brady or a Manning or a Drew Brees. Those guys elevated their talent and their skills to make everybody else good. Like, over the years, Drew Brees and Peyton Manning, Devin Brady especially, they had the shittiest receivers you could imagine. I mean, come on. Like, they had some god-awful receivers. But they elevated their talent to make them good. Mahomes can't do that. Mahomes has to have talent around him to make him good. Over the years, Mahomes has had badass offensive talent. When you had Tyreek Hill, when you had fucking Juju Smith-Schuster before he became a shell of his former self going to New England, you had Travis Kelce. You got a decent running game. Your offensive line has got some damn good people on it. Hell, this year, to me, is probably the best defense Mahomes has had since he's been at Kansas City. And they can't do nothing with it. Like, they're wasting these guys. To me, I think Mahomes is not himself. He's not. Mahomes is still putting up the numbers. Don't get me wrong. He's still probably going to win MVP. I'll be honest. He'll still probably win MVP. But he's not like he used to be. Something is off about him this year. And I said it after the first week of the season. I said there's no way in hell that Mahomes is going to fucking win the Super Bowl this year. It's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you something right now. And Mahomes, more than likely, I agree with Shannon Sharp on this, Mahomes, more than likely, is going to have to pack his bags and go to a opposing team stadium for an AFC Championship game this year. I can see it. I really can see it. Because I just don't think the Chiefs have it. I don't think they're going to have home field advantage throughout the playoffs this year. I just don't see it. I think they're going to have to go somewhere else. They might have to go to Baltimore. Or they might have to go to Miami. Or they might have to go to, probably not the Texans. Like the AFC South is weak. Like, whoever comes out of the AFC South is not going far. I mean, and then you got the wild card teams. You got like the Buffaloes. You got the Cleveland might make the playoffs this year. Pittsburgh, Jacksonville. The Chargers. Like, you got a lot of wild card teams that are still in play too. That are in the AFC. Like, it's a dogfight. It's going to be a dogfight. I would say Cincinnati, but I don't think it's going to happen with Joe Burrow going down. I think that ends their season. Same with Cleveland. I don't know how they're going to be with DTR. I don't think they're going to win with him. And if they do, they put Joe Flacco in there. I mean, what the fuck does Joe Flacco still have? Nothing. Buffalo's been so inconsistent this year. Miami might be the only other team I think that could have a chance but it depends on Tua Tagovailoa. If he stays healthy the rest of the year, I think they have a shot. And I said that going into the season. I said if the Miami Dolphins keep Tua Tagovailoa healthy, they will be good. And it's showing. That's why they've only lost 3 games. But they also haven't beat a team that's above 500 this year either. So the AFC is wide open. But the moral of this, I'm saying, though, guys, is I'm so glad that the Eagles beat the shit out of Kansas City. It made me so happy. Oh, did that make me so happy. I couldn't believe it. Oh, my God, I was jumping for joy. I was seeing Jalen Hurts look good. A.J. Brown didn't really look that good, though. He didn't look that good that game. But, Devontae Smith stepped up. DeAndre Swift stepped up. They were down Dallas Goedert, their tight end, and he's a big security blanket. But the other guys stepped up. That's what makes it. That's what makes the Eagles so dynamic. Is they got guys that stuff. Hell, they got Bradley Roby and Kevin Byard, who have both only been there maybe a month, making plays on the defense. Jalen Carter's still doing his thing. You know, like they got some good players on that team. I wouldn't be surprised if they go to the Super Bowl again. They might. Honestly, I think the Eagles probably are going to the Super Bowl again this year for the second year in a row. I just don't think anybody can stop them. Not in the NFC. I just don't. Like Dallas and San Francisco might be the only two teams, and I'm a little bit leery about San Francisco now because they were on a 3-game losing streak and they're starting to lose guys for the year. Like the injuries are starting to pile up in San Francisco, and I think that's going to affect them. Like they lost Talanoa Hufanga, their best defensive back, done for the season, torn ACL. Fred Warner hasn't really been healthy. You know, they really just don't have... Debo finally came back. Debo was out forever. Like, it showed how much better they were on offense. Dallas is probably the healthiest, though, of the three. And I think with a healthy Dallas Cowboys team, that's going to be scary. Now, I want to see how Dallas does, though, against the next few weeks. You know, I mean, they got the Commanders tomorrow night, or tomorrow afternoon on Thanksgiving. You know, that's tradition, playing the Commanders. But they don't always play the Commanders, but Dallas always plays on Thanksgiving. So that's going to be interesting to watch. I'm trying to think who else. You know, they got Seattle. After that, they got to play Seattle. That's going to be interesting. You know, you got the Eagles again. You got Detroit. You got Miami. You got Buffalo. That's a murderer's row of a schedule coming up for Dallas. And I think that's going to be tough. I'll be honest. Seattle might make it hard on them. Miami's definitely going to be hard. Same with Buffalo. You know, Detroit's no slouches. They've only lost 2 games this year. Like, it's going to be tough. Dallas has got a tough schedule coming up after this week. So we're going to really see what they're made of. And it's going to be interesting. I'll tell you, it's going to be very interesting. Trying to think. You know, I didn't have any Patriots this week, thank God. Oh, thank God. Oh, that was nice. Oh, that was so nice. Because I'll tell you, I can't stand seeing them lose. Oh God. I bet they'll lose this week to the Giants. I really do. I bet they will lose to the Giants this week. That wouldn't surprise me. Like, literally, it would not surprise me. Even though the Giants are under the 3rd-string quarterback, it would not surprise me in the slightest if New England found a way to lose that game. I want to see who the quarterback's going to be, though. I don't know if it's going to be Mac Jones, or Will Grier, or Bailey Zappi, or even Malik Cunningham. I want to see who's going to be coming in for that game at starting quarterback. I hope it ain't Mac Jones. I hope to God it ain't Mac Jones. I think he's done. He's got to be done. Yeah, but we got a lot of great football coming up these next few days. You know, tomorrow we got football. San Francisco and Seattle are playing tomorrow. You got, you got Dallas, you get the Commanders. I think Detroit's playing Green Bay, if I'm correct. I'd have to look at that again. But yeah, it's going to be a great week of football, guys. You know, it's going to be a great week of sports in general. Celtics are playing tonight against the Bucks. I'm looking forward to that game, because that's going to be a potential Eastern Conference Finals matchup. I want to see if the Celtics can come back from the other night, losing to Charlotte off of a back-to-back. We'll see. I'll definitely be watching that game. And, but yeah, great week, guys. Great week. And I hope and for all you guys down here in Texas that listen to me, it's a beautiful day outside. It's 60 degrees and sunny. Great week for Thanksgiving weather. By the way, speaking of Thanksgiving, guys, I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy yourselves with your friends, your family, however you celebrate it. And just have fun, and be thankful for what you have in life. That's a very big importance to me, honestly, is just being thankful for what you have going in your lives right now. I know I sound like I'm preaching the gospel here, but it's true. That's one piece of advice I could give, is that just be thankful for what you have. Don't get greedy. Don't get that gimme, I want this, I want that attitude. Like, be thankful for what you got. Because I'll tell you what, thankfulness goes a long way in this world. But take it easy, guys. You have a great rest of your week. Like I said again, happy Thanksgiving. I'll have another episode for you guys next week. Take it easy, guys.